first of all, thank you for inviting me. And the GAFSP, the Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, it is one of the co-organizers of this important event today. So we are very glad to be represented also with you today. The Global Agriculture and Food Security Program, it's a financial mechanism, and it is a multi-stakeholder platform. So this means that we have different actors sitting around the table, from donors to recipient of our project, to what we call a supervising entity, which are the agency that implement our project, and the civil society, of course, very important. And what we do is financing projects. So the GAFSP has been launched in 2010 after the food price crisis, and the idea was indeed to invest in family farming to enhance livelihood and food security in various areas of the world. But where we operate is mainly in the poorest country of the world, 55 countries which are the most in need. And this depends very much from the call for proposal that we launch. But we have two ways of funding projects when we talk about grants funding. Either we finance projects through governments, so the government, depending from the criteria, when, for example, COVID crisis arrived, we had specific criteria on COVID. When after the conflict in Ukraine, there was an upscaling of the food crisis, we had criteria more related to the level of food insecurity. This depends very much. So we have two different ways of investing in projects. Either we work through governments who partner with, again, these supervising entities. And these supervising entities are 7. And are the RBAs, the UN Rome-based agency, so FAO, which hosts us today, WFP and IFAD, but also the multilateral development banks are our partners, so the World Bank, the Asian Development Bank, African Development Bank, and the Inter-American Development Bank. So government can partner with them and propose a project, and if the project is successful, it's financed. Otherwise, we have a very innovative financing mechanism, of which we are very proud of, which is the producer organization-led financing track. In this case, government is not involved, but it's the producer organization which collect a number of family farmers that apply for funding, again, together with a supervising entity. So many of these projects are indeed implemented with the support of FAO and IFAD, which are very important actors here. And again, depending from the criteria, depending on the need, we have a panel of experts that evaluate the project, and based on the need and on how good is the project, we invest. And just to give you an idea of how big those projects are, when we talk about a country, what we call country projects, so project by governments, though the grants are about 30 million, 30 to 50 million, it's a bit shrinking lately, while for producer organization, the average is 1.52 million, which anyway is quite a big sum of money. It's quite obvious why family farmers are important. They produce the 80% of food production in the world, yet they are the least served and the most food insecure. So this is clearly one of the reasons. At the same time, what we see is that when we work with family farmers, we work also with their diversity, which is what makes what increased resilience in our project. Now, when we go in the field and we apply the standardized solution, which include non-diversified crops, very common approaches, then and also markets, when we work in the different in the same market, when crisis come, we have seen that these create huge collapses. On the other hand, when we work and we respect the diversity of family farmers, we take it into account. When then crisis come, we have this diversity that ensure resilience in a moment of need, both in terms of food production and in terms of markets, by having more local markets, which are we have seen during COVID are extremely resilient, as well as approaches. What we see is that when we ask producer organizations themselves to come in with ideas on approaches, in particular to mitigate the climate change, many times those approaches relates to agroecology. And it's funny because agroecology is quite cheap and at the same time ensures continuity of production, ownership of inputs. So yeah, this is to respond the first part of your question. And while on why investing on producer organization, it's there are a number of reasons actually. So if you look at the various challenges or the main challenges we have in the moment in food system, we have definitely the climate change, we have conflict, we have gender inequality, lack of access to input and finance. And what we see is that by working with producer organization, many of these issues are more easily tackled. So, for example, again, for climate, we have very producer organization provide trainings, provide ideas on how to manage inputs and approaches on production. And again, we see a lot of agroecology there. When it comes to conflict, which unfortunately it's very punctual. So I'm not talking, of course, of severe conflicts, but when we are in countries like, for example, we have an example of a project in Mali, a conflict-affected country, we see that the producer organization there provides such a strong network for communities and for keeping communities food secure. And also they secure inputs and provide support in terms of crisis. So one of the reasons why the GFFF is very important for us, and the decade is very important for us, is that GAFSP is now going toward next 5-year cycle, and we are working on a new vision and new priorities. And from this week, we really hope to get new ideas on innovation, on what's actually should be upfront in our vision. So this is something we are working on, and civil society participation is of course going to be central because nothing about civil society without civil society can be done. And second, a very important new step. It's about a call for proposal, which is going to be dedicated to producer organization. The launch of the next call for proposal is already agreed by our steering committee, which is our governing body. So it is going to happen. The launch date is not clear yet, but it should be around May, June of 2025. And the big novelty is that while in the last years we have always provided funding to national producer organizations for national projects, this time around we are also providing funding to regional organizations in recognition that these organizations have such a strong power of coordination, knowledge sharing, and also a huge outreach in terms of the national producer organization they work with. So we really hope to have a lot of interested producer organization, farmers organization, family farmers organization. Of course, those projects, again, will need to be in partnership with one of our implementing agencies, including FAO and IFAD, but also the Multilateral Development Bank. And we are most happy to provide any additional information about it. I think it's a very interesting topic. Thank you very much, Mario, and thank you, everybody.